If you'd like to buy a property for zero down, a good place to start is to see if the numbers work out. That's why we're providing you with our stack method calculator. And you can see here what you're going to want to do is go ahead and put in the purchase price right here. For our example, we're going to use $600,000 for the purchase price. Notice that the yellow cells are the editable cells. All numbers are estimates. For exact numbers, please consult your lender and/or title company. Let's say in this case, in order to make this work, we're looking at getting a loan, probably a DSCR loan for 70% loan to value, in which case we would need the seller to be able to carry back more than 30% to cover your closing costs and fees. So in this case, the seller is willing to carry back 35%. So we're going to put that amount in right here. That's $210,000. And then the way we know that that's still going to be good to go is because they only owe $100,000 on their mortgage payoff. So that leaves them plenty of room to be able to carry back that 35%. Once we have that in, we can start putting in some of the numbers. We're going to use some estimates here today. We're going to say that the seller closing costs are around 2%, and that if they used a realtor, the commission for the realtor is going to be about 3%. So their total closing costs are around $30,000, which means for them, the balance forward is $360,000 minus their mortgage payoff. They're going to be able to pocket at the first closing $260,000. Now, where's the rest of their money going to come from? It's going to come from this 35% seller carryback note that we're going to do during the second closing with our attorney. So let's look at the numbers over here for the buyer's side. 70% loan to value, again, originating a DSCR loan for $420,000, which means they need a down payment of $180,000. Let's say that the buyer's closing costs are around 2%. That's $12,000 plus the origination fees, which would be around 2%. All right. So the total cost to close is going to be $200,400. And that's where we come in. We're going to go ahead and fund that upfront down payment and closing costs and fees. And the funding amount that we would bring to the closing table for the first close is the $204,000. And then that would leave actually a little bit of money left over for the buyer. So our funding fee is only 2.5% of the amount that we fund, not of the purchase price. So our $205,410. So the amount that would come back to us on the second close from the attorney would be this $205,410. Now, on that second close, when that happens, there is a little bit of money left over, and so the attorney on the second close would pay the buyer back the extra funds, in this case, a little under $5,000. And the last thing to look at here is what the totals look like. So the property, the first lien amount is $420,000. The second lien amount, which is the note that will get recorded by our attorney in the second closing and sent over to the seller, is for $210,000. And that's going to be on whatever terms you can negotiate with the seller. We pretty much cover all the transactional, coordination. Our transaction coordinators take care of that. We have our attorney to draft the note and take care of the second closing. But when it comes to negotiating the deal with the seller, that's on you as the buyer. That's your responsibility to negotiate the terms of that note. Now, our team can help you with that. We can give you some suggestions on the structure, but it's really up to you to negotiate those terms on that note with the seller. So in this case, the total combined lien or total combined amount owed is $630,000, which is not too bad. The current leverage ratio right here is 1.05. So in this case, it will work out if the seller is willing to carry back a note for 35% of their proceeds, and the DSCR lender is willing to loan at 70% loan to value, and we come in with the funding you need up front. You will end up owning this property for zero out of pocket, but you are going to be slightly over leveraged, owing a little more than the purchase price for it. So it's very important that you do your underwriting or have somebody who's experienced in this asset class do some underwriting for you to make sure that you're going to be able to cash flow not only the DSCR loan amount, but also the terms of the seller carryback note. And that's it. If you have questions, reach out to us. And if you'd like to receive a copy of the Stack Method Calculator, you can go ahead and comment the word stack, and we will send that to you.